Hey everyone, it's Jessa. I'm stepping away from my usual home life vlogs today because something has happened in our family that I can't keep quiet about any longer. We all know my big sister Jana has always been the one to take care of everyone else. She's been the rock of the big house for as long as I can remember. When she finally married Stephen Wisman, we were all so happy to see her start her own journey. But there's a part of that journey that hasn't made it to Instagram. There's a reason why the nursery door has been closed during my recent visits. You've seen the rumors, you've seen the blurred backgrounds in our family photos, and today, I'm finally showing you what I saw when I walked into that room. It's not just one baby, everyone. It's two. Jana has been hiding a double blessing, and today, I'm walking you through the 70-minute journey of how we kept this secret, why the family demanded silence, and the moment I saw those two tiny faces for the first time. Get comfortable, because the Duggar family secrets are about to get a lot bigger. It was a Tuesday afternoon, and I was just finishing up some laundry when my phone buzzed. It was Jana. Now, usually we talk about gardening or home decor, but her voice sounded different, thicker, almost like she had been crying, but in a happy way. She said, "Jessa, you need to sit down." I remember leaning against the kitchen counter, my heart starting to race. She told me she had just come from her 12-week scan in Nebraska. We all knew she was expecting, but then she said the words that changed everything. "There's two of them. Jessa, we're having twins." I think I actually dropped the phone. For so many years, Jana was the one helping us with our babies, and now God was giving her double the blessing all at once. But then her voice got serious. She asked me to promise not to tell a soul outside the immediate family, not the fans, not the press, no one. That was the start of the longest secret I've ever had to keep. You have to understand, twins aren't just a surprise in our family, they are a legacy. Growing up with two sets of twins in our own house, Jedidiah and Jeremiah, and of course, my older brothers, we always knew the twin gene was strong. But for Jana to be the one to carry it, it felt like a full circle moment. My mom, Michelle, always used to say that twins are a special kind of test and a special kind of reward. I remember Jana helping raise the boys, watching how they interacted, how they had that twin language. Now, she was going to experience it as a mother. We spent hours on the phone that night talking about the genetics of it all. Was it a fluke? Was it the Wisman side? Or was it just the Duggar blood coming through again? But while the science was exciting, the reality of keeping it a secret in a family that lives in the spotlight was starting to sink in. Jana has spent her entire life on camera. From the time she was a little girl, her every move, her every chore, and even her single years were documented for the world to see. When she told me about the twins, her biggest fear wasn't the work of two babies. It was the world's eyes on them. She told me, "Jessa, I want this to be mine. I don't want a TV crew in the delivery room. I don't want a magazine cover." It was a heartbreaking request in a way, because I knew how hard it would be to hide. She wanted to enjoy the quiet of Nebraska, the peace of the Wisman farm, without the pressure of being a Duggar storyline. I looked at her, even through the FaceTime screen, and I saw a woman who was finally drawing a line in the sand. She was choosing her children over the brand. And as her sister, I knew I would do whatever it took to build a wall around her and those babies. It was about 2 weeks after that first phone call when I actually flew out to Nebraska to be with Jana for her follow-up appointment. We drove to a small, private clinic far away from the main city to avoid any prying eyes. I remember sitting in that dimly lit room, the only sound being the hum of the ultrasound machine. Jana was squeezed onto the table, her hand gripping mine so hard her knuckles were white. When the technician applied the gel and that first image flickered onto the screen, the room went completely silent. There they were. Two distinct little shapes, two rhythmic flickering lights, two heartbeats. The technician pointed them out, baby A and baby B. Jana just started to sob quietly. It wasn't just the shock anymore, it was the sheer weight of the miracle. After all those years of people asking when she'd get married, or when she'd have her own kids, here she was carrying two at once. We spent nearly 45 minutes just staring at that screen. We looked at their tiny profiles, their little hands that seemed to already be reaching for one another. I took a photo of the screen, a photo I still have hidden in a password-protected folder on my phone. Looking at Jana in that moment, I saw a glow that I'd never seen before, even on her wedding day. She was a mother now, and she was fiercely protective of those two little souls before they even took their first breath. When the news finally reached the big house back in Arkansas, the reaction was intense. My dad, Jim Bob, has always been the one to manage the family's public image, and a Jana twin announcement would have been the biggest media story we'd had in a decade. But Jana was firm. She didn't want the spectacle. I remember the family meeting Dad called. We were all gathered in the living room, and the tension was thick. He sat us all down and explained that we were entering a total media blackout. No one was allowed to mention twins or even pregnancy on their social media. He told us that if the press found out before Jana was ready, it would ruin the privacy she was asking for. But I also felt like he was mourning the loss of a major TV opportunity. He even went as far as to suggest that we shouldn't even tell the extended family yet. It was a strange feeling, protecting a secret not because it was a scandal, but because it was a treasure Jana wasn't ready to share. We all had to sign a verbal pact that day. It felt like we were a secret society, all working together to build a wall around Nebraska. It was the first time in our family history that something so big was kept so quiet for so long. For the next few months, the challenge was purely physical. How do you hide a twin pregnancy on the most watched family in America? Jana is naturally petite, so by the time she hit 20 weeks, she was already showing quite a bit. We had to get creative. Every time she came to visit, or every time we'd do a family photo for Instagram, we had a strategy. If you look back at our posts from late 2025, you'll see Jana always standing behind someone else, or holding a large bouquet of flowers, or wearing those very loose, flowy prairie-style dresses that she loves. We even practiced camera angles. I told her, Jana, always stand at a 45-degree angle away from the lens. There was one time at a family gathering where a fan almost caught her. They asked why she was wearing such a heavy coat indoors. Jana just laughed it off and said she was feeling a bit of a chill, but her heart was pounding. It became a game of hide and seek with the world. Every day that passed without a leak felt like a victory. She wanted to enjoy her cravings and her naps without the whole world commenting on the size of her stomach. It was exhausting, but seeing her so at peace in her own home made every lie we told worth it. While we were doing our part in Arkansas, Stephen's family, the Wismans, were the real heroes in Nebraska. They live in a community where everyone knows everyone, and a secret like this is almost impossible to keep. But the Wismans are a tight-knit, incredibly loyal family. They treated Jana like a queen. Stephen's sisters were her inner circle. They did all the shopping for the babies so Jana wouldn't be seen in the baby aisles of Target. They'd bring the groceries to the house. They'd help her set up the room, and they never, not once, let a single word slip. I remember talking to Stephen on the phone, and he was so proud of how his family had stepped up. He told me, Jessa, we're keeping the farm gates locked. They created a sanctuary for her. It wasn't just about hiding, it was about honoring Jana's wish for a normal life. They understood that for Jana, this wasn't content. This was her family. Seeing that level of loyalty from her in laws gave me so much comfort. I knew that even if the Arkansas side of the secret felt shaky, she was safe in Nebraska. Finally, the day came when I went back to Nebraska to help with the final touches on the nursery. Up until that point, I had only seen sketches and color swatches. But when I walked through that door, I stopped in my tracks. It was the most beautiful, calm space I'd ever seen. But what hit me the hardest was the double bassinet. It was a beautiful, handcrafted wooden piece that Stephen had worked on himself. Seeing those two identical sets of bedding, the soft blues and greens, made it so real. There were two of everything. 2 tiny rocking chairs, 2 sets of hand-knitted blankets, and 2 little names carved into the wall hangings. I turned to Jana, and she just had this peaceful smile on her face. She said, Jessa, I'm finally ready for them. We spent the whole evening folding tiny clothes so small I'd forgotten how it felt to hold them. As we worked, we talked about how different their lives would be from ours. They wouldn't grow up with cameras in their faces. They wouldn't be the twins for a television audience. They would just be Jana's babies. That room felt like a sacred space, a room where the secret was finally a reality, waiting for its 2 little guests to arrive. It was around 2:00 a.m. on a freezing Tuesday in late December when I got the text. It was just 3 words from Stephen, it's time. Nebraska? Even though we had practiced for this, my heart started thumping in my chest like a drum. I remember waking Ben up and we were out the door in 10 minutes. The drive to Nebraska was a blur of dark highways and caffeine. I kept checking my phone, waiting for an update. But Jana was in the zone. She had decided on a hospital birth. Given that it was twins, we all knew the risks were higher, and she wanted the best medical team available. When we finally pulled into the hospital parking lot, the sun was just starting to peek over the horizon. The air was so cold it stung my lungs, but I didn't care. I ran through those sliding doors, and the smell of antiseptic hit me instantly. I found Stephen in the waiting area. He was pacing back and forth, looking completely exhausted, but incredibly focused. He told me Jana was already 8 centimeters dilated. She was doing it without a camera crew, without a producer directing her movements. She was in that room, bringing 2 new lives into the world on her own terms. I felt a wave of pride wash over me that I can't even describe. The actual delivery was surprisingly fast, but intense. Because it was a twin birth, the room was crowded with nurses and specialists, but the atmosphere was calm. I was allowed in for the final moments, and I'll never forget the sound of that first cry. Baby A arrived first, a healthy boy weighing 6 pounds 4 ounces. Jana barely had a moment to catch her breath before baby B followed just 6 minutes later, another boy weighing 5 pounds 11 ounces. 2 boys. 2 perfect, screaming, healthy little boys. Stephen was in tears as he held them for the first time. They decided to keep the names traditional but meaningful: Archie, Gerald, and Arthur Stephen. Archie was named after a family friend, and Arthur was a name Jana had always loved for its strength. Seeing those 2 tiny faces side by side in the clear plastic hospital bassinet was the most surreal moment of my life. After all the months of hiding, all the clever camera angles and the loose dresses, the secret was finally breathing. They were here, they were safe, and for those first few hours, the world didn't even know they existed. You've probably seen the photo that eventually leaked. The one where I'm sitting by Jana's bedside, my hand over my mouth, with tears streaming down my face. That wasn't a stage shot for a reality show. That was a raw moment captured by Stephen on his phone. I was looking at Jana, and I think I was just overwhelmed by the journey she'd been on. For 15 years, she was the stay-at-home daughter. She was the one who helped me with my kids, who helped Jill, who helped Joy. She had waited so long for her own moment, and now she had it, doubled. I was crying because I was happy for her, but I was also crying because of the weight of the secret we were still carrying. I knew that the moment we left that hospital room, the pressure to hide them would start all over again. I felt this fierce need to protect her peace. That photo captures the exact second I realized that our family would never be the same. We weren't just the Duggars anymore. We were a family that was finally, truly putting each other first. Before the cameras, before the fans, and before the brand. We spent the next few days in the recovery suite, just talking about the O and the Y. Jana and I laughed about how the twin gene had skipped so many of us only to land on her. The doctors explained that it was a case of hyperovulation, something that runs deep in our family history. Jana told me that even though she was shocked when she first found out, it made sense to her in a spiritual way. She said, "Jessa, I waited 36 years to be a mom. God just decided to give me 2 at once to make up for lost time." We talked about the logistics of it, the double feedings, the double diaper changes, the lack of sleep. But Jana was so calm. She had spent her whole life practicing on our younger siblings, so she was more prepared than any first-time mom I've ever seen. She wasn't fumbling with the swaddles. She was a pro from hour one. Seeing her navigate the biological surprise of twins with such grace was a testament to her character. She didn't see it as a burden or a scandal to hide. She saw it as the ultimate reward for her patience. Before I left Nebraska to head back to Arkansas, we held a secret meeting. It was just me, Jill, Joy, and Jinger on a private, encrypted video call. We called it the Sisters Pact. We knew that the paparazzi would be looking for any slip-up. We made a solemn agreement: no one posts anything that even hints at 2 babies. If we talk about the new baby in the singular, we stay consistent. We even discussed what to do if someone accidentally leaked a photo of the double stroller. Jill, with her midwife background, was especially protective of Jana's health, reminding us that she needed to recover without the stress of a media circus. Jinger talked about the pressure in Los Angeles and how she would handle questions from reporters there. It was the first time all of us sisters were completely on the same page, working against the official family PR machine to do what Jana wanted. We were a wall of silence. It felt empowering to finally have a secret that was ours to keep, a secret that was based on love and protection rather than shame. The hardest part of the last few months wasn't keeping the secret in person. It was managing the digital trail. We knew that the fans of the Duggar family are incredibly observant. They notice a different shadow in a photo or a piece of baby gear in the background of a video. To protect Jana's privacy, we had to become masters of social media deception. We started a system where we would save photos from months ago and post them as if they were happening today. If Jana was at the farm in Nebraska, we might post a throwback of her in the garden at the big house in Arkansas. We were very careful with our captions, too. We used vague language like spending time with family or enjoying the season without ever giving a specific location or date. There were times I'd be sitting on my couch, knowing Jana was in labor or just getting home with 2 newborns, while my Instagram feed showed a peaceful, unrelated photo of us at a park. It felt dishonest in a way, but I had to remind myself that we weren't lying to be malicious. We were lying to be protective. Jana had given so much of her life to the public that she deserved to keep this one piece for herself. Every time a fan commented, "Where is Jana?" or "Is she pregnant?" I had to bite my tongue. The silence was our greatest weapon in keeping Archie and Arthur safe from the spotlight. People often ask me how Jana is handling it all, especially starting her motherhood journey with twins at age 36. Honestly, if anyone was built for this, it's her. She spent 20 years being the second mother to our younger siblings, so she already had the muscle memory for the late night feedings and the endless diaper changes. But I'll be real, 2 babies is a different kind of exhaustion. When I visit her in Nebraska now, the house is filled with the sounds of 2 distinct cries and the constant hum of the washing machine. Jana is in what I call the beautiful blur. She's tired, yes, but there's a piece about her that I've never seen. She's not rushing to get back to work or looking for the next project. She's completely content just being mom. We spend hours just sitting on her living room floor, each holding a baby, talking about how much life has changed. She's found a rhythm that works for her. She doesn't follow a strict schedule from a book. She follows the lead of Archie and Arthur. It's a much more relaxed approach than what we grew up with. And I think it's because she waited so long that she doesn't want to miss a single second, even the hard ones. She's not just surviving, she's thriving in the chaos. Because the Duggars are always under a microscope, the rumors started circulating almost immediately. People on the internet began claiming that Jana must have a team of nannies or helpers staying at the Wisman farm because no one can handle twins alone. I want to set the record straight. Jana is doing the work. Yes, the Wisman sisters are incredibly supportive and they stop by to help with meals or to let Jana grab a nap, but there is no staff. There are no paid nannies hiding in the guest room. Jana and Steven are a team. Steven is hands-on in a way that I think would surprise people who only know the traditional roles we were raised with. He's there for the 300 a.m. diaper changes, and he's the one making sure Jana stays hydrated and fed. They've chosen to do this on their own because they want that bond. They don't want to outsource the most important job of their lives. When you see Jana in our TLC Drama Central style updates, remember that she's a real mom doing real work. She's not a character on a show anymore. She's a woman who has finally found her true calling, and she doesn't need a crew to help her fulfill it. One of the most emotional moments of this whole secret was when my mom, Michelle, finally got to fly out to Nebraska to meet her newest grandsons. We had to keep her travel plans completely under wraps. We didn't even tell the younger kids at the big house exactly where she was going, just that she was visiting a friend. I remember the video call I got when she arrived. Mom was sitting in Jana's rocking chair with Archie in one arm and Arthur in the other. She was beaming. You could see the years of twin mother experience coming back to her instantly. She and Jana spent the whole weekend talking about the unique bond that twins have, the way they'll grow up being each other's best friends and constant companions. It was a healing visit for both of them. For Mom, it was seeing her eldest daughter finally find the happiness she'd prayed for. For Jana, it was having her mother's validation and support in a way that felt private and sacred. There were no cameras there to capture the tears or the prayers. It was just a grandmother and her grandsons, a moment of pure family connection that didn't need to be content for anyone else. So, the big question everyone is asking is, how long can this last? How long can Jana keep Archie and Arthur a secret from the world? The truth is, Jana doesn't have a grand reveal planned. She isn't looking for a magazine deal or a YouTube special. Her plan is to just live her life. Eventually, they'll go to the grocery store, or someone will snap a photo at a park, and the secret will be out. She's okay with that. Her goal wasn't to hide them forever. It was to give them a peaceful first year of life. We've talked about when she might share a photo on her own terms. She says she'll know when the time is right, but for now, she's enjoying the anonymity. We're prepared for the media storm that will happen when the secret twins are officially confirmed, but we're also determined to make sure that storm doesn't reach the babies. We've learned from our past mistakes. This time, the family is in control of the story, not the network. When the world finally sees those 2 faces, it will be because Jana chose to show them, not because she was forced to. As I look at my own kids and then I look at Jana's boys, I realize how different their childhoods are going to be. My kids have grown up with a camera in the house. They know what a vlog is. But Archie and Arthur, they have no idea. Jana and Steven have made a commitment to protect their innocence at all costs. They want their kids to grow up without the pressure of being famous. They want them to be able to make mistakes, to be messy, and to just be children without thousands of strangers judging their every milestone. It's a beautiful thing to witness. It makes me reflect on my own life and how much I wish I'd had that kind of privacy. We are all working together as a family to make sure that happens for them. We are the gatekeepers. If we have to keep dodging questions and posting old photos for another year, we will. Their innocence is worth more than any click or any high CTR thumbnail we could ever create. Protecting them is the greatest way we can show Jana that we love her and that we respect the life she's built in Nebraska. I want to end this by saying thank you. I know that many of you have followed our family for years and you care about us. You've been rooting for Jana for a long time. Please understand that the secrecy isn't about excluding you. It's about including Jana in her own life. She has finally found her voice, and part of that voice is choosing what to share and what to keep private. The secret twins aren't a scandal. They are a miracle. They are the answer to a decade of prayers. As you watch the commentary on channels like TLC Drama Central, I hope you see the heart behind this story. We are a family that has been through a lot of public ups and downs, but we are also a family that is learning and growing. Jana is leading the way in showing us how to live a life of meaning away from the lens. I'm so proud to be her sister, and I'm so honored to be an aunt to those two precious boys. The truth is always better than the rumors, and the truth is that Jana is happy, her babies are healthy, and the best is yet to come. Thanks for being on this journey with us.